Hello and welcome again to Crafting with Kara. I got a bit of a different setup, so apologies for the random cardboard box at the bottom. Today, as far as puppies go, we've got both Ginger and Mahogany on the couch with me, which is very exciting. Ginger's right here. Hello, Ginger. You want to look at the camera? There you are. So that means that no peeing has happened in the house lately, which is very exciting. And then we've got Mahogany. You're such a good girl. Aren't you so good? Yes, you're so good. Oh, thank you for the kisses. She's so sweet. I love this girl so much. Yeah, so it's been a week since we talked about Clue 1, which is exciting. Since we've had Clue 1. There is going to be 1,000 spoilers, nothing but spoilers for Clue 1 for Stephen West's Mystery MusiKAL. So if you are not up to pace and you're not interested in watching Clue 1 spoilers, come back later when you are ready and raring to go. Because that's what I'm going to be talking about, and that's what I'm going to be stitching on. I'm hoping to stitch while I chat today. We'll see. But yeah, so I'm about to show Clue 1. It is not finished yet. That's not, but, again, if you're avoiding spoilers, turn away, click off. I'll see you later, or have a nice time. So here's how far I've gotten with Clue 1. I've got 4 scallops done, and I am working on scallop 5. It is Tuesday afternoon. And I know people say this all the time, but this is a lot of knitting. It definitely is. Before I go any further, I just saw, since I'm doing the video recording, I thought, why not dress in my Stephen West outfit, which is so fun. This is my Stephen West painting bricks. I love the sweater. It, in fact, was my first finished pullover. So that's how easy it is. Again, adventurous knitters, feel free. This one was so great. There were a few purl stitches, but other than that, you knit the whole thing. There's only a few increases and you can't tell where they are. I went with a commercially dyed white yarn. I can't remember what called. I was hoping for cream, but I got, pretty general white. And then all these fun moody colors were a graphic dyes. Yeah, I put the plural in the wrong spot. Graphic dyes, hand knit dyer, or I'm sorry, hand dyed knitter. Anyway. So yeah, graphic dye works maybe. I don't know if she's still dyeing anymore, but it was fantastic. It was a whole bundle of 50-gram minis. It was a while ago, right after the pandemic, if I remember correctly. So I absolutely love this. The colors are so fun. There's even been a few Junes, which are particularly cold, that I've gotten to wear this, which is fun because it's kind of like Pride-ish to me. But otherwise, I just get to wear this whenever I want. I've gotten so many compliments. So many of my family members think that this is amazing. I will be sipping on some pumpkin beer. And I hope you're sipping on something fun, whether it's tea, water, or if you're like me and you're excited that it finally feels like fall, it's something a little autumnal, like cider or, like pumpkin beer or whatever. I also have witch's brew for the future. Yes, and Mahogany loves this so much. I know. Can we focus though? No, we can't. All right, so that's what I'm going to be sipping on. Yes. I wanted to talk about Clue 1 and what's been going on. Ladies, we don't need to play. We don't need to fight. So I've made some modifications. If you watched my earlier video, you know that I am doing all of my yarn as DK, which means I've been knitting on 7s instead of knitting on 4s. Because I plan on making a blanket rather than a shawl. And so far, this is going fantastic. One of my yarns is even, in fact, a worsted weight because I liked the color and I was willing to kind of go flexible on the weight. And I, again, spoilers, put that where the welts are, which worked out perfect because Steven is putting some mohair dares where the welts are on his. So he already knows that it's like going to be a heavier weight. I think worsted in comparison to DK is not necessarily the same compromise as fingering with an additional mohair, because that maybe would bump it up to sport. Whereas this, I think, worsted is genuinely DK doubled. I don't know. Now I'm guessing. But either way, so we started in Clue, I'm sorry, Scallop 1. So here's my Scallop 1. This one, it turns out I was wrong in my first video. Brioche right off the bat, right? So we did some brioche. I also have incredibly high hopes that because he's talking about using the spare needle now for brioche to go back and forth, that maybe we won't have like second sock syndrome later on, and it'll end up being kind of a crescent shape moving outward rather than like do a right side and do a left side. But I'm curious to know what you guys think. So if you've watched the whole thing or if you've started, once you do Scallop 1, you go on to Scallop 2. It's very similar. There's a few things that like you pick up on one side or pick up on another side. And so like the decreases or increases on the end are just a touch different. But in general, it's very much like the same thing over and over again. Are you feeling like the second sock syndrome with Scallop 1, Scallop 2, Scallop 3? As far as I go, I've been really enjoying it because Scallop 1 is like bite size enough that then afterwards you feel so accomplished that you're like, I did it. It's amazing. I did, Scallop 1. And then you do Scallop 2. You feel so proud when you're finished. Even little sections, you're like, yes, I finished that bit, on to the next. And then, bam, you're on to Scallop 3. You're loving that. So I just feel like it's like this huge sense of like accomplishment. It like surges me forward instead of feeling like, oh boy, now I have to do that again. I will say I haven't finished, so maybe like, 6 is going to be a slog. But I'm on 5 and I'm doing the brioche bit right now. I did have to double look at the video because I was like, wait, what? Because in my mind, there wasn't 5. I mean, there was only 5. And so when he said, okay, now Scallop 5, I thought it was going to go on the other side of 4 and we were going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kind of thing. And then I had to go, oh, there are 6 scallops instead. And so that's why we're picking up this one in the middle. So that made much more sense. But I had to watch the video like twice to be like, where are we picking this? Because I, in my mind, was picturing it to be on the other side of the wing, which it turns out is where Scallop 6 is. So some modifications aside from just making it a blanket. I got very excited about color choices. Usually I'm one who doesn't like looking at the finished product at the end of the clue until I personally am done. Excuse me. But, it's just a made up rule that I did. And when he talked about color placement and where should you look and what should you do, he was like, go to the end of the video to look at what it looks like. So I definitely decided that. In the beginning, I had made all these plans for what colors I thought A, B, C, and D would be. And then I looked at the finished thing and decided to go with my gut anyway. So if you're, thinking about colors or whatnot, so I thought A is going to be this blue, and it definitely, I stayed true to that. I ended up doing B as my welts. B is my green bit. C was supposed to be what was the back of brioche. I ended up doing a different color for the back of brioche, but I decided that my C is going to be my variegated green, which I can show you now. That's this guy. So this is going to be my C, which he talks about being a solo star player later. And then having, when he talks A, B, and D as in dog, being these 3. And I think I'll just decide when that clue gets to be like, ba 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 ba. When he talks about like there's going to be these 3 playing together in kind of a stripe, I'll decide whether or not I want to do blue, green, yellow, or whether I want to, go this way or put blue in the middle or something like that. But I'll probably go with this, regardless of whether that means that this is A or B or D or what, but in general, I've been using this as D, and this as B as in boy, but I'm willing to make changes and modifications as I go. When he first talked about welts, I thought about, as a modification, only doing 6 rows of the stockinette, mostly for yarn conservation, but also because whenever I see welts, I think, it's impactful, it's great, but do we need 8 rows? Maybe I can get the same effect done in 6. During scalloped 1, I knew that I had to commit and decide whether I was going to consistently do 6 or whether I was going to consistently do 8. I ended up going for 8, and just, thinking if I run out of this green yarn for the welts, that I'll just buy some more. It's from my local yarn store. I love them. And, worst comes to worst, and I don't, in fact, have more of this green. I can literally ask her to be like, can you do me a favor and order some more green? Like, we're in good standing like that. So that's my plan if I run out there. All the other yarn, if I run out, I'm kind of out of luck. But that's all right. I'll deal with that later, and hopefully it won't happen at all. So I didn't end up doing modifications on the welt, but if you did, let me know if you did something totally different or if you did a shorter period of welting. I ended up really enjoying the fact that I've got 8 rows, because with a lot of this, it's kind of very much like you think about all the different details, you figure out all the different stuff, and then you get to a welt and you're kind of like, oh, good. It's like a set it and forget it. You just move forward and you're very, like, ta-ta-ta-ta, it's very nice. So one major modification, he wanted C in the back of brioche. I ended up going with a totally different color, one of my, like, what I thought was going to be like my pretend mohair dares. I went with this like teal color instead of doing my C, which is that variegated green, this guy. That was mostly, again, for yarn conservation, knowing that C wasn't going to show up a lot. And actually, if you look, these two colors are very similar, depending on where in the variegation you're comparing. So a lot of the spots look similar, and I was like, this is great. I'll use, something else instead, just to pop it in. So we've got this gorgeous brioche section. And then for my scallop 1, I did yellow. And after looking at scallop 1, I really liked it, but I thought the yellow was a little bit intense. And again, I love color C. I'm not using it at all. So I decided to look at the end result and say, for the even numbers, because again, I thought there was only 5. But really 2 and 4 numbered scallops, I'm going to do, instead of yellow, do a different color eyelet section. So here's my scallop 1 here, and there's the yellow, and scallop 2 and 4 have a variegated green blue eyelet section. And if you see the variegation's there, but it's definitely like, it's not singing as much. It's a backup singer, as Stephen discussed. So there's like bits of blue and then bits of green. It's also a tweed, right? I think that's what it's called. But it's got neeps in it. That's the thing that I'm trying to talk about. So if you see like the little black dots and stuff, it's got neeps in it. And I'm finding that they're falling out like a lot. I don't know if that happens with everything with neeps. I have only knit like 1 or 2 things with neeps in it. I'm very curious if it's just a constant thing that falls out, or if it's maybe this yarn that like, it's so luxuriously soft. I absolutely love it. That like maybe because it's so soft, it's hard for the neeps to stick onto. I don't know. I'd be curious to know what you have done with stuff with little itty bitty bits of neeps in it. I know I've seen things from like Hedgehog Fibers that they use recycled yarn and use that different color stuff as neeps, and it ends up being like rainbow flecks. Super cute. Yeah, I even have like a sweater's quantity worth of stuff with itty bitty neeps in it. But I have yet to make that sweater because I wanted to successfully make one cardigan first. And now that I've done that, I can. I just will do it later. So yeah. I've got the yellow modifications and the green modifications. And then, like I mentioned, the brioche is a little different. I am absolutely loving this. My one personal thing for me is, so I like using wooden needles. That's my personal preference. My sevens I only had one set of wooden needles. And instead of buying another pair of tips that were wood, I dug around and I found some metal sevens, which is fine because it's the exact same gauge, everything. I'm using it on the brioche section. And I don't know if it's because of the fact that it's metal or if it's just the way that I knit brioche, because I'm not super familiar with brioche. But my brioche knitting is super loose. And I don't know if it's because the metal is like slippier than my wooden tip. But it's also reminding me why I enjoy metal tips so much better. Like the clicking and the clacking of the metal is definitely being like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. I'm not a fan of that. And it's like not smooth or warm to the touch. It's like cool to the touch. So yeah, it's definitely reminding me that I like the interchangeable needles that I have, which is awesome. It's good that I like the things I have. Yeah, again, what do you do? Are you a Chow kind of person? Do you love that red lace, or do you like wood needles, maybe bamboo, something like that? My personal preference is, again, wood, but because I like wood, but I also like that Chow red lace, Lantern Moon has like metal cords like this. They're not red. I think like Chow got that trademarked, but they do have that metal inside cord with like a plastic outline. Fantastic. So I don't have a Lantern Moon set. I just buy the cords because it's interchangeable with my knit picks. Yeah, knit picks. And then I've got likey tips as well. So yeah, I am absolutely loving this. I know people say this a lot. It is a lot of knitting. Knowing that another clue is dropping on Thursday and I have to get a whole scallop plus another bit, means I've got a lot of knitting to do and I don't have a lot of time. But hey, that's all right. It's again, embrace your pace. Love what you're doing. Enjoy every stitch. So I definitely don't feel rushed to like get to clue 3. I'm sorry, what am I talking about? I don't feel rushed to get to like the Thursday clue on Thursday. I'm going to get to, whenever I finish clue 1, then I'm going to go to clue 2. The one thing that I enjoy, as I've mentioned in my last video, is the knitting community aspect. And it's been a little hard to, one second. Mahogany, wait, Kong, wait. Mahogany's got buttons and she just asked for Kong, wait for Kong, because she will get something, but just once I'm done. Yeah, so I really love the knitting community, but it is a little hard to avoid all the things that I love seeing, like other YouTube videos and like things on Instagram and stuff like that. I can't wait to go on Ravelry and look at all the pictures of people who, colors I like or colors I wasn't expecting, to see what theirs looks like. And to see all the different, Ravelry community posts and everything. I can't wait to mention things myself. Wait. No. Okay, come here. So I can't wait to see all that stuff, but I will be waiting until I'm done with clue 3. But I just wanted to get this video out there. Come here. Yeah. I just wanted to get this video out there because I don't know if I will have time before Thursday. So let me know what your progress is, how you're doing, and if you're loving the process. If you're one who've been sitting on the sidelines waiting to know whether or not you want to do it, when is the time you dive in? Has it already reached a point where you're thinking about looking at yarns and stuff? Are you thinking about buying different things or, getting a kit from a store? Are you going to go stash diving or yarn shopping at your local place? Yeah. And if you're doing it, did you end up doing the garter stitch section? how great was that? Did you like it? Look at that. We're doing brioche. So how fun. And are you enjoying your brioche knitting if you're doing that? Let me know all the things. And then, obviously, what do you predict is going to happen with Clue 2? So before I ship off, I'll just say that real quick. So since he talked about that the next clue is going to have a lot of kind of more methodical and easier going knitting, I assume once we're done with all the scallops, all 6 of them, that we're going to go from there and like make waves from those 6 scallops. Very similar to last shawl, which Go Dynamo. Yeah. Very similar to the extended bind off for the Go Dynamo shawl. I'm sure it will be totally different and something, crazy and different out there. But that's what I'm picturing is kind of like ripples off of that. But I've made some guesses before and I've been wrong, just like the brioche. And which one? Twists and turns. I thought I knew which shape we were making and what was happening with that. And sure enough, I was very wrong. It ended up looking like the Millennium Falcon, which was a super fun little, to me, like a little, oh, hey, look at that. So yeah, I can't wait to see what Clue 2 brings. I was very surprised to see, and I was just following along, seeing the way that Clue 5 picks up and Clue 4 picks up and all these different things. My own personal that I did look at the end to know that it was going to be, 5 different scallops. But if you were following along and just reading the pattern, once you finish scallop 1, were you like, wow, we're doing another scallop, that's so cool? Or were you kind of predicting that was going to keep happening? Yeah, I'm so curious to hear what you guys are thinking and what you're doing. And I would love to see everybody's pictures on the internet. So in the comments, maybe throw out your Ravelry name and I can look and see what you're working on. If you don't have a Ravelry, now is a great time to join Ravelry. It's so fun. Again, there's just so many cool knitters on there, and I just think it's so cool to see people making their own designs or people just going crazy with different colors and stuff like that. So I love it. I'm so excited October's here. This is a fantastic Clue 1 in my opinion. Leaps and bounds better than twists and turns. That's my new bar is I always hope that it's a little bit better than Clue 1 twists and turns. And amazing. Nothing but smiles. I am so intense in trying to get this done and I'm just thrilled about it. I've just been overjoyed knitting this. It's so soft and squishy and it's colorful. I love it. So I hope everything is going great for you as well and that you're loving every stitch that you do. So from my little house and puppies to wherever you are, goodbye. Yeah, bye, Ginger. And bye, Mahogany. Oh, that's my hand. Sorry about that. Bye, Mahogany. Yeah, should we make these our thumbnails? Just constant kisses? Yeah, there we go. Oh, my goodness. Mahogany kisses. It would avoid spoilers of what it looks like. So yeah, let's do it. There we go. So have a great day. And remember, enjoy every stitch. If you're not enjoying it, take a break. Take a breath, Just walk away and come back when you're feeling better. All right. Enjoy. Bye.